Hi Piccolos, this is a practice guide to the Overture to Candide by Bernstein, the piccolo part. I will start just at the top and go through some measures and stop and start and go over relevant things at the moment, like fingerings, intonation issues, whatever, piccolo things. The main thing, just one trill. You don't want to be there's no time, so just and then same thing down here after 20, just one trill. Here after 30, 34 or something, going to the high A flat. It's really easy for this kind of figure that's, you know, it's kind of like a whip around feel to, on the piccolo, just like blow out your air stream or your embouchure. So try not to do that. You can get away with that on the flute, but on the piccolo, when you're doing that up in the high register, it's really easy to lose your notes altogether. Keep your airstream fast through there, but try not to spread your airstream wide as you go up. And I would land on the alternate A flat. And the accents, yes, but make sure it's in proportion to the size of your piccolo. So small, just keep it contained and not too outside of itself. One other thing with a figure like this where you do something high and so the airstream is quite fast and then it gradually comes down into the middle register, make sure your airstream speed accommodates that. So it's very fast, not so fast, not so fast, not so fast. And it's microscopic differences, but I am aware when I get to the middle E flat there that is not the same airspeed as my first E flat here. If you do not change the speed of your air and you keep it really fast, it'll sound like this. You know, you just get that gross overblown sound. So I was exaggerating a little bit just to make the point, but adjust your airstream a tiny bit. So two different speeds. This figure after 50, this is my least favorite part. I mean, it's cute and everything, it's just very awkward. So you want to, of course, have the grace note F to the E flat as close together, very tight, like snare drum or something. I always try to aim for the high Fs in the fingerings. I'm always like just thinking really of the Fs rather than the E flats. And you want to just try to keep it moving. It's really easy to get bogged down because it's just a little awkward in the fingers. Okay, here on the next page we have a solo. It says piano. I wouldn't worry about trying to make it soft. I think this middle register in particular, just make sure you keep your core of sound, especially that first B flat, and then tongued notes don't get too spread. So you don't want to do something like, Of course we don't want that. But what I'm doing for that is just like, I've lost my embouchure, kind of hold on the airstream. And the air is way too wide. You just keep the air with a solid core. And then you send that off to the principal flute. You might check with your tuner. In fact, I should check mine because I can't really hear like I usually can. That E flat that you land on. Make sure it's not wildly one way or the other. Basically, very cute and with a forward motion. I always say that, motion. You know, it doesn't say crescendo, and you don't want a crescendo, but everything's going to the C. Just very light. Okay, and then what else? Oh, and then down here at 119, this is a little nasty because it's hard enough on its own because of intonation, but then it's in unison with the E flat clarinet. So I don't know how many times I've gotten my intonation all worked out where I feel very comfortable. I go into rehearsal and then in unison with the E flat, and it's like, nah. I would do the alternate C sharp on your first C sharp. It has a better tone quality, it's better in tune, so you know, those are all good things. And let's see, I'll just play it once. Oh, I think I was doing a little vibrato at the end. I think because you're with E flat, probably no vibrato or very minimal. You definitely do not want to do, I mean, it's already squirrely enough with the intonation. So I would not do any or hardly any vibrato, just so you can hear the clarinet. And the second one says pianissimo rather than piano. I don't worry about that at all because I'm just getting the notes out and Yeah, notes out and intonation. Just worry about those two things. Okay, and then we can sing a little bit more over here, down here. We are in unison with the French horn. It should have a broad cinematic sound, even though it's on piccolo, but so you don't want it to sound intense, but just sort of as broad as possible, and listen to the horn and blend in with them. After 140, is this the big flute solo? I think the flute solo is here, can't remember. And then we come in after that. So short, and with the airstream that has resistance to it. You know, you don't want to like grip the airstream, but tiny notes that have a core. And then, and then it goes on. Here's where we do the big gliss up to the B flat. It's so fun. Like I was saying before, for something on the first page, make sure you do not blow out your embouchure and blow outside of your airstream, or that high B flat is going to be prone to just doing that, making the piccolo fart. So you need the air fast, of course, going through, but don't spread your air, widen your air as you go up. After 180, the oboe has the melody before us, so ya ya da 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 da, match. So you're continuing the phrase. So you want to, as much as possible, just you're adding a little color to the already existing oboe line. So just try to blend right in. You could do the alternate for B flat, so it's like normal B flat. You're just adding in the right hand 1, 2, 3 down here. That'll raise up the B flat, but make sure the B flat's not so high that C has nowhere to go, because C tends to be a little flat, but I'm just going to use regular B flat. Here after 210, the flute have this ya da ya ba da dum bum ba da dum bum little melody, and we come in after. So keep it cute and light and tiny. And the accents, again, kind of more with vibrato maybe. A little bit goes a long way on the piccolo. Make sure the C's, like 220, just a little bit higher. Just raise your eyebrows. C and then G's tend to be sharp on most piccolos, so that make sure that interval is correct. So a little bit higher on the C, G down a little bit, and I wouldn't do any kind of rolling in or out like you can on the flute. Just if you're aware of it, sometimes that's enough. Last page. Here, do come away. Once you get to that E flat, yeah, try to come away. And then the next figure here where you have the ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum. Just, it's easy, but just make sure if you haven't played this piece too many times, or this is your first time playing it, you might want to put slashes where the beats are. I mean, a lot of us have played this Candide so many times that you just sort of play it by ear almost. But the rhythm's a little bit, it's not very intuitive right there. I can't remember why exactly, but just take time maybe to play along with recording, or put the slashes above so that you make sure you come in exactly right on the ba-da-da, 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 because you're really key, piccolo is key to everything staying glued together to the C right here. So I'm gonna play from here. Oh, E flat was sharp. The last up to the high B flat. Same thing. Try not to spread out your airstream as you go up to the high B flat. And I really focus on the E flat, G, B flat as I'm going up. Yada-da-da-da-da-da, because those are the ones that count. And make sure we don't start the beginning of the run, it's not really a run, but grouping of notes, too loud or outside of the center of our tone. So make sure we don't start like that. Because you never make it to the top. And that little D can almost be like half played. And if it doesn't speak at all, that no worries, don't even worry about it. And then the last E flat, try to make it not sharp, like how I did when I played it. So just do as I say, not as I do. Okay, so those are all the spots. Please hit subscribe if you haven't already. I have an ongoing list of these practice guides for mostly for piccolo with orchestra, the orchestral piccolo parts. So you will get that notification when I get the next one posted. Also, you may want to go back and look at the playlist I have and see if there's something already up there that might be of interest to you. Thanks for watching this video and happy practicing.